Hey everyone, hope you're all well. Yesterday we received some pretty shocking news that had been circulating around social media for the last few days now, but yesterday it was officially confirmed that Chris Lee, Halo Infinite's studio head and director, had officially left 343 Industries weeks after the delay was announced. Chris Lee was ultimately sidelined from Halo Infinite as Microsoft managed to bring in the esteemed Joseph Staten to finish the campaign and another senior executive in Pierre Heinz to finalise Infinite's multiplayer. Now, like I said, this was a big shock to all of us, as Chris Lee has been a part of the Halo franchise ever since 2008, which, to put into perspective, is only 1 year after Halo 3's huge launch. So it's safe to say why so many Halo fans are now worried, and honestly, I'm usually really positive with these types of things, but I have to say that this is somewhat concerning. I'm sure you're all aware, Halo Infinite has definitely had some development issues, and that is even more apparent now, with multiple executives leaving 343, and of course now with Chris Lee stepping down. But something that needs to be highlighted is the fact that Chris Lee was sidelined so that Joseph Staten could take over. This, at the very least, should be seen as a good sign, or at least one positive thing to take away from this whole pretty shitty situation. I know for a fact that Joseph Staten will try his absolute best to put out an amazing Halo game. The real question from this is just how far behind is Halo Infinite from being complete. It's either pretty much ready with final touch-ups taking place over the next few months, or it's worse than we originally thought, meaning that Infinite could be delayed until at the very least holiday 2021, maybe even later than that. I still, however, don't think that this is the case, because Chris Lee did say upon his exit that "I believe in the team and I'm confident they will deliver a great game, and now is the time for me to step away." Take that as you will, but the way I'm reading that is that Infinite is already pretty much done, and in Chris's opinion, in good hands. So Chris Lee has no reason to stick around if he's not needed. Again, like I said, I'm not trying to convince you that this isn't bad news. It definitely is, to a degree, but I'm trying to be that little bit optimistic considering all the recent events taking place, and I'm sure you know what I'm getting at. Now, here's something crazy to think about. Halo Infinite was originally set to release in less than 2 weeks from now. Seriously, something has gone wrong with this game's development, because there is no way they could be this far behind. Of course, the pandemic disrupted 343 Industries during this year, but it's also affected everyone, so that cannot be the main excuse. It's clear to everyone that 343 has had poor leadership in the past, and even right now, some of the people at the top are still questionable in my opinion. So definitely it boils down to that. It also boils down to the decision to make Halo Infinite last over 10 years as a live service game, which was one of the reasons they built the Slipspace engine, as that was going to make things easier for 343 to continuously add content to the game post-launch. But honestly, whilst the Slipspace engine sounds sick on paper, the graphical showcase we saw this year during the July event, if anything, made people question how so much money could have been used to create something so clearly lacking. Of course, there are many variables at play here, and I do think after some improvements, it will be a solid engine used for Halo going forward, but it's quite clear to see all the implications this decision to make Halo Infinite last over 10 years is having on the studio. 343 are probably having issues trying to work out the future of Halo and what they exactly want to do with the franchise after Infinite releases. This is the problem with live service games. Plus, you have to remember that many live service games have the sole purpose of draining their users' money by loot boxes or cosmetic items or skins. So what ties into that 10-year plan is plenty, and I'm talking plenty of microtransactions. And just from judging from recent events, it appears that Halo Infinite will be full of them, which definitely worries me. What is very important to remember here is that Microsoft are the ones forcing this upon 343 Industries. Microsoft want to make as much money as they possibly can with Halo Infinite. So whilst the multiplayer may be free, things like armor coatings and even basic cosmetics that usually you could earn or straight away receive are now locked behind a paywall. Now, of course, it's not all of them, but it is really different to what all of us Halo fans are used to. But I will of course say that Unishek mentioned that there will be plenty of ways to obtain armor, emblems, and many other cosmetic items for your Spartan via regular methods like challenges and hopefully achievements. What 343 need to do to win everyone back is show off the different ways you can unlock items in Halo Infinite without sinking any cash into the game. Now, that's probably wishful thinking, but hey, we'll see. When we talk about Halo Infinite's development issues, we cannot ignore the poor leadership in the studio, because that has led to some real issues that are now finding the light of day. And just in general, these bad decisions have forced 343 to delay the game until next year. And like I said before, Imagine if 343 released Halo Infinite this year in the state we saw it in back in July. Granted, I loved quite a few things, and in my opinion, the gameplay looked super fun, but there were some very, very, very noticeable issues that should not have been there that close to release. Alright, what I'm saying here is that Bonnie Ross, and I hate to pin the blame on her, must be responsible for the shit currently going on at the studio. If I'm wrong, I'd love for someone to explain it in further detail in the comments, but she is the head of 343 Industries. Surely by now, she should step down and place someone with a drive and passion, someone with better leadership qualities to finish this game off. I can't stress how important it is to have a leader that inspires others. By definition, that's what a leader is. This brings me back to Joseph Staten, the Halo veteran. By no means is he a miracle worker, but he managed to correct Halo 2 after its very own development issues back in 2004. What's actually quite weird is how Halo Infinite is having similar issues to Halo 2's development, but of course, Bungie's studio is so small compared to what is now 343 Industries, so it's actually hard to make that comparison, although I think you get the idea. I have faith that he'll be able to turn things around. Of course, it's not going to be only him. Pierre Heinz, who I mentioned earlier, has taken over Halo Infinite's multiplayer. Who is this guy, and why is he important? Well, Heinz's leadership is what quite literally saved Halo MCC. I think you would all remember the buggy state that game was in for 4 years, from 2014 to 2018. But when Heinz joined the MCC team back in 2018, his first task was to fix MCC, and he was the one that brought the first game-changing update that really fixed many of the issues plaguing the game. Within months of being hired, he managed to save the dumpster fire that was known as MCC, and turn it into an awesome collection of Halo games, the one that should have released back in 2014. Of course, since then, MCC has only gotten better under his leadership, and the move to PC, in my opinion, was an overall success, with Halo 4 being the last game currently in the process of being ported over. Like I said at the start of this video, the situation is not looking good for Halo Infinite and 343 Industries, but if we can find any sort of hope right now, it's definitely through Joseph Staten and Pierre Heinz, who have both proven that they are extremely efficient in getting the job done. If Halo Infinite truly is in a terrible state, then I'm sure that they will be the best people there to fix it, and more importantly, fix it fast. 343 Industries have a huge task ahead of them. I think it's fair to say that. They need to get Halo Infinite back on track, whilst at the same time win back the Halo community and even the broader gaming community in general. Unfortunately, there are many big YouTubers and social media influencers that have been pushing the narrative that the situation at 343 Industries is grim, and most likely going to result in Halo Infinite being an awful game, when in reality it'll be far from that. Just because there's been some development issues does not mean that this game is going to be utter trash, like some people have been saying. Again, I don't like to compare Halo 2's development to Halo Infinite's, since they are from two contrasting times, but I think my point still stands, that 343 can turn this around, thanks to good leadership, and finally produce a great Halo game, one all us Halo fans have been waiting for. Alrighty guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I really hope 343 will be able to turn this around, because things aren't looking bright. But we all need to remember to have hope, because I still believe we'll get an amazing Halo game, and I hope you do too. Just remember, there are plenty, and I mean plenty, of talented people over there at 343 Industries that absolutely want to see Halo succeed again. I really just hope they can pull this off. Anyway fam, thanks so much for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed, and be sure to subscribe if you want to support me that little bit extra. Thanks guys, have a good one.